All right, so what's up, guys? Welcome to SLED Podcast. In today's video, I will show you how to do WD Gann's multi-frame analysis. On top of that, I will show you how to find turning points, how to find inflection points, how to find initial impulses, and how to trade Big Bertha. If you don't know what Big Bertha is, by Eric Bean, or Aaron Bean, um, can't remember the name exactly of the author, but basically Bertha circles allow us to find the most probable spots for turning point. It measures by using time. We can measure the amount of bars. I'll show you how to do that calculation. On top of that, we have a pretty cool indicator in the works to help you out with a lot of that. I will be using a program called Tesseract. If you guys are not familiar with Tesseract, it's a great software. It's still in development. I'm closely monitoring its progress. Talking to the owner of the program, to the coder of the program, and I've been enjoying it a lot. It's awesome, and I'll be showing you off the program today and how to use it. You can still use TradingView for this, except it's much harder. The candles are not scaled, and if you don't know what you're doing, you're just gonna have a hard time. It's just best to support developers like these, and it's just a great product, and it's so different from everything else. You can always use TradingView as your secondary or your primary. For this, what I'm going to be showing you, Tesseract, would be the best, and I will leave the link on the screen for when I post the video. It will also be in the description, guys. But before I go on, please hit that like, please hit that subscribe. It greatly helps us grow. I'm giving these free lessons. I'm giving a lot of value for free. So it would be awesome if you guys could help me out and grow our channel. It's not just me here. It's 3 other traders. We do a podcast here called SLED, What's Your Stop Loss? Without further ado, let's get right in it. All right. I was just doing a little intro, guys. Here, I will post my screen. There you go. Tune in. So this is TesseractPro.io. Very neat program. Allows you to do multi-frame analysis like this. So here I got 32 minute, 128 minute, 512, 2048. Also, I separated them. I also got a 2 minute, an 8 minute, and a 30-second chart. So basically, as you can see, I can figure out by using time and using price action to figure out the turning points, right? So there's a cycle. There's always a cycle, right? So a regular 32-minute time frame cycle is 7 days for Bitcoin, right? It goes from Monday. It starts on Monday and ends the following Monday. So 7 days, right? So here at the bottom, you can see it says cycle started 6 days ago. It's Sunday. It's divided into 4 quadrants. Just to keep it all simple, organized. And so the cycle will end in 1 day. So this is using a New York time. This is using a New York time based chart. So new cycle will start roughly, in a day when Monday hits. In each of these cycle is 10 turning points. Only 10 turning points. There can be more, there can't be less. That's just the rule. There's only 10 turning points. 5 ups and 5 downs. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're forming 9 right now. There's going to be a 10. It has to, the new quadrant, so new quadrant of new cycle has to start with a 1. The first high on the first quadrant is always a 1. It can be a low. It has to be a high. So there's going to be sauce. Just bear with me. It's very important that I tell you how it works in the beginning in order to get into more advanced stuff. Let me see who's on Discord here. 1 second, guys. So if you haven't joined our Discord, guys, go ahead. It's absolutely free. Link will be in description. Link is also in, if you click on our YouTube channel, it's going to be there. Embedded. Anyone is welcome. Invite link is indefinite. That it never runs out. Anyone can join. All right, so just like we said, 10 points. So let's look at a previous cycle here, not the one that's going on right now. So again, first high 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We started new cycle with a 1 right here. So there's also 2048-minute chart, same thing, except it started a year ago. It will end in 23 days actually. And we will start with a high of 1. 512-minute chart, 128, 32, and 8. Now, let's get into this 32. So, one thing that you guys need to read is the book, right? First of all, the book, the Big Bertha book. If you haven't read it, read so. I'm not going to get into too many details. This is a beginner's class. So, this is a cheat sheet for turning points. As you can see here, different colors represent different turning points, right? We got turning point 1 in pink, turning point 2 in teal, turning point 3 in green, turning point 4 in purple, and so on. Red, green, dark blue, black, whatever this, violet, orange, right? So now we have the cycle, right? So the 7-day cycle from Monday to the end Monday, 4 quadrants, just like I showed you in Tesseract, right? Now, don't worry about where these points are sitting on the chart just because it's like up here. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that turning point 1 is up here. That means the price is going to be higher than turning point 10. It can be absolutely the opposite. So just worry about another thing. So each one of these quadrants is actually divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 lines, right? So just for you to have a better visualization of where the most probable turning point could be. So let's get into turning point 1. Turning point 1 in pink or whatever this color is. As you can see, the clusters, where it's most clusters is where it's most probable to land on. So now we can see here that most of the time it lands in the first 20% of the first quadrant chart. That's where it's most probable that it's going to hit, right? It can also hit on the last, 60% of the chart. On a Monday, right? Turning point 2 is followed closely. The biggest cluster right here. So it follows right after turning point 1. Turning point 1 is going to be the high. Turning point 2 is going to be low. And it's going to also form anywhere between Monday to Tuesday. But it's going to form in about 50% of the chart. Sometimes a little bit past it right here. Then turning point 3 will form at the end of the first quadrant, sometimes overlapping into the quadrant 2. Turning point 4 comes in most of the time in the first 40% of the quadrant number 2. It's followed by turning point 5. Turning point 5 falls into last 60%, as you can see here, or last 70% even, or even 80. I will show you all this on the Tesseract chart after. Then we got a turning point 6, which falls into quadrant 6 in the middle most of the time. So like 50%, somewhere around there. Turning point 7 will fall right after 6, will start going up. Usually it's a very fast move. Sometimes it's not. But a lot of the times, I will show you how 6 and 7 actually came in on the actual chart here. As you can see, 6 and then 7 shot right up. It was literally two candles, right? 1, 2, 3, 7 came in, went down. It was a downturn. Even here, you can see that 6 is closely followed by 7. Then we got an 8, a 9, and obviously a 10. A 10 usually comes in at the very end of the quadrant 4, by the end of the cycle. Sometimes it overlaps and goes into a Monday, but then it's followed right away by a high of a 1. They kind of overlap. But most of the time, 10 will come in on a Sunday before 12. So now let's take a look here. This just gives you a probability of where the turning points are. Now, to start charting, you guys will have a clear chart, obviously. You can map out a full complete previous cycle, or you can just start on the current cycle, like I said, the new cycle starts with a 1, so you can just map out 9 and 10 of the previous cycle, and then you can figure out where 1 is. But the problem with that is there's a time bar, right? And this time bar shows you how much time we got left to make a turning point. And the way this time bar works, it's a simple calculation. You can just determine the amount of bars of a previous pivot point. So let's say 10 to 1, and you keep dividing it by 2, right? And these are the numbers that appear. So here's 27. We formed a turning point 2. Then when we click on 27, we got 16, 31, 63, 50% time, 100% time. So we got turning point 3 here because it had to come in. It was pretty late. Then 3 came in. Then 4 ended up very late here. It squeezed past into end of the quadrant. 5 had to come in very sharp, and so on. So this time bar is automated here. It's coded into it, right? So what you can do is, if we check out the previous cycle, let's just see something cool. Okay, so in order for this time bar to appear on Tesseract, for example, you need to have 3 previous points, and on the 4th point, the time bar will appear. Otherwise, it's not going to be there. So let's take a look at 10, right? 10. This was the high, right? And then we started going down. So obviously, this is the one, because there's no high after that. And like I told you guys, the new quadrant starts with a high of 1. So this is most definitely at 1. All right, don't worry about the Gann box right now, or the Gann fan, or the Gann box, whatever you want to call it. So then, if you can see, we got 16, 32, 100% times 63. If you draw a vertical line here, you can see that it's damn near close, 3 candles away from forming a turning point 2. Now, if we look at our cheat sheet, 1 formed and then 2 followed. Where did our 2 land? Roughly, it landed in the last 30% of the chart, so 70% through, right? So let's take a look. As you can see, we have a big cluster of turning points here, big cluster of big Bertha circles, and we came in pretty late. So we got a 2 there, right? After 2 came in, we need to form a 3. If you can see at the numbers here, here's a 40. If we draw a vertical ray, we fell under 500% time, so pretty damn near 40, right? The way you know this also, if you check, it's in the first 20, 40, 60, 20% of the move of quadrant 2. As you can see, big cluster of Bertha circles here. This is a turning point, right? I'm just simplifying it for you guys. There's more to it than this. So 3 came in right on time, right where Bertha circles are showing. Then a 4, look, 100% time, a 4 came in. 4 came in a little bit less than 50%. A little bit less than 50% of time, in between 14 and 27. Actually, we came in perfectly at 100% time. All right, so this was what, a little bit less than 50%. Big Bertha, turning point 4. Look, comes in, big cluster. Big cluster came after 3. 4 came in, 100% time, exactly where Bertha circles are showing. So we got a 4. Now, if we take a look at 5, 5 came in at the end of quadrant number 2. Came in right there. Not all of these turning points are tradable, guys. No system is 100%. This lets you visualize and understand the price movement much better. Obviously, there's much more to it. So as you can see, now I'm going to start getting into this Gann fan, or Gann square. So after 4 formed, we need to figure out where 5 is. So if you see 5 came in there, and if you look at our Bertha circle, 5, it was a delayed 5. So we didn't come at the clusters at the very last 10% or 15% of the move. We actually came in right on the line, which is still possible. As you can see, there's still clusters of circles here. But how did we know this was a turning point here? How did we know? How could we enter this, right? So the answer is pretty simple, guys. So we came out of the kill zone, this green arc is called a kill zone. First double arc, second double arc, third double arc. Third double arc is your main target by using this system, right? First double arc acts as resistance, second double arc acts as support, third double arc acts as resistance, and it's your main target. If we break this double arc, usually 4 is no match and it goes straight to double arc 5. But as you can see here, time was coming. We were at about 75% time. And on Bertha circles, on a cheat sheet, we had to make a turn because we were already late. So we were waiting for this candle to finish, to touch our main target. We know that this is massive resistance. And we know that the time is perfect for this turning point because we are a little bit late already. Usually it comes in a little bit before the next quadrant. So we make an entry. Now let's keep going. 6 comes in right after 5. We came in pretty much on time here. A little bit later than 18. We came in here. Look, again, what did we touch? We almost touched double arc. We know that the time was running out. Turning point 6 right here. We could have had a little bit more time, but we had this crazy initial impulse. So if you take a look at, here's another thing that I need to mention. You don't just look at the double arc or where to enter, you also scale down the time frame. So if you're looking at 32 minutes and you're thinking that the turning point should be coming in, how do you determine if it's coming in? 32 is too big of a time frame. You go on an 8-minute time frame and you see where it is in the cycle. Is it making a turning point? It's called an inflection point. Where the chart is going to turn on an 8-minute time frame. If it's turning at the same time with the 32-minute, it's called an inflection point. So basically, you're like, okay, 6 coming in, prices kind of starts going up a little bit. You look at 8. So let's see here. This was an older chart. So check this out. And what do you know? This was many cycles back on an 8-minute. Each cycle is different. What should we call it? Amount of days. But on an 8-minute chart here, we had to form a turning point 4. Again, according to a cheat sheet, turning point 4 had to come in. We started, but we don't know for sure if it's turning point. So we started getting all these candles up. We started getting crazy initial impulse. As soon as we get out of the kill zone, this initial impulse is hard enough, is strong enough for us to place a turning point. Now we place a turning point here, and then we looked at the chart on the 32. Oh, the candles start going up. It makes sense, time-wise, for it to be a turning point 6, because on 8 minutes it's turning, and now on a 6-minute it's turning. So this is called an inflection point. You look for initial impulse on a lower time frame. Once you spotted the initial impulse of a turning point on a lower time frame, then you can determine it's a turning point on a 32-minute chart. You can even go lower. You can go to a 2-minute chart, and you can do it that way as well. So then you can spot an initial impulse on a 2-minute chart for a turning point on an 8-minute chart. So you want to work with 3 time frames. It's a multi-time frame analysis, and it works the best when you guys put in the time. So important. So many traders are not seeing the bigger picture. They're thinking they're trading the trend, but they're actually not trading the trend. They're trading a smaller trend within a bigger trend. And, you know, they thinking that, oh, the chart is going down on an 8-minute or on a 30-minute chart or 1 hour, but they forget to zoom out. They forget to zoom out to a 4-hour, to a 2-hour, to a daily, to a weekly. You need to see the bigger picture. You always need to see the trend. And by doing this multi-frame analysis, you can always see the trend here. So when you map out your turning points, there's going to be a little cheat sheet here. If you're not familiar on how to find a trend, which trend classically means uptrend means higher highs and higher lows. Downtrend means lower highs and lower lows. Higher lows and lower lows. Lower highs and lower lows. I always get those mixed up. So you will always see the trend. So we can see that our 2048 minute is an uptrend, 512 is kind of transitioning into an uptrend, but it wasn't a downtrend. 128, blah, blah, blah. It shows you everything here. I don't use that feature. I can just see trends by zooming out. If you guys need more help, you can always go to TradingView, and you can always type in higher high, and use whatever you want to use, right? And boom, you got a little indicator just for the beginning while you're learning. And you can cycle through time frames and just see like weekly. Look, we formed a higher high, right? So hence the retracement, right? We need to form a higher low, uptrend, obviously, right? Daily, um, accumulating, right? Accumulating for another leg up. I don't think this is a distribution because I use Bertha and I can spot turning points, right? You'll be able to know when it's distribution, when it's accumulation. You'll never be saying word consolidation anymore. Consolidation is a word that traders use who don't know where the chart is going to go, and they use it to mask their lack of knowledge. They're like, oh, it's consolidating. That doesn't tell you anything. What's consolidating? It could be consolidating and then it's going to go up or down. We here like to keep it strict, right? Is the market distributing or is the market accumulating? It's not. It's never consolidating. Whoever made up that word is a Dumbo. So yeah, simple like that, guys. You can check with TradingView, stuff that you're used to. On top of that, market structure is key, guys. Right? You don't want to, even if you know that the it's a new turning point came, and let's say it's an 8, right? So all evens are up, all odds are down, right? So let's say you came to a turning point 8, and you're like, oh, it's gonna go up, it's gonna go up. The thing is, it doesn't mean that you necessarily need to enter that trade, because even though the turning point is going to be pointing up, it might be a very short move because we're actually trading in a downtrend. So don't go against the grain. Try to trade the pivot points that make more sense on a market structure. Let's say you're in a downtrend right now, right? Don't trade pivot points up. You're in downtrend, right? Wait for an up move to finish and trade the down moves, and vice versa when it's when it's an uptrend. So that's another set of rules that will help you be more profitable using this system, guys. On top of that, you can always use a fib, and you can mark the previous pivot. So you can take a fib, right? You can mark the previous move, and then you can move it. You can move it to the new turning point, and you can be very, very reasonable with your profits. You don't need to wait for the whole Gann fan to form. Right here, we're forming nice. We actually spotted this the turning point 8 yesterday on another one of the classes. We already pierced through double arc 2, double arc 1, double arc 2 is through. We're on to double arc 3. Possible target, not 100%, is 63,612. This is not a signal, guys. This is not a financial advice. I'm just telling you how the system works. We can place targets here. A very reasonable target. Once we map this out here, we spotted initial impulse on an 8-minute, and we mark this down as an up move. But if you want to be, like I said, conservative in your profits and still be profitable, and again, if you want to play it risky, play it riskier, but you draw a fib from top to bottom of the previous move. That's not even the previous move, sorry. Yeah, this is the previous move. And then you place this like that, and you take profit at 0.5, and if you want to really push it, you take profit at the whole entirety of the previous move. But this is a very good price target. Also, you can take profits at every single partial profits at every single one of those double arcs. Great way to keep up with your risk management. Take 20% at first double arc, 30% at second double arc, another 25% at third double arc, or do 10, 20. It's up to you. I'm not going to teach you risk management here, guys. Everyone has different risk management. As long as you stay profitable, no trader ever lost any money that took green. It's just impossible. Most of the time traders lose money is because they try to push that extra cent and everything just collapses. They didn't take any partial profits. They didn't move their stop losses. If you guys follow the rules, that's never going to happen. Just stop being greedy. That's it, right? Don't make it a get rich quick scheme. All right, so I taught you about inflection point. Let's recap what we did. How to spot it. Think of an inflection point as a Russian doll, right? Big doll contains a smaller doll inside. Smaller doll contains another smaller doll and another smaller doll. So it all stacks up. Same as in here, right? So we have one big move, then we have smaller moves inside it, and smaller moves inside a different time frame. And basically, you're trying to pinpoint where it all turns at the same time. All time frames, 32, 8, and 2-minute charts where they all turn at the same time, where Bertha circle would make sense, right? So this is obviously mid range here, like right. This is nothing, right? You want to spot these turning points. I know I don't have them mapped out here, but it doesn't matter. I know this is a turning point. In fact, I know this is an 8. It's going to 9, 10, 1. And this was a turning point on our 8. If you take a look here, this was an 8 and this was an 8, but they're not always the same. This can be a 4, this can be an 8. That's not the point. The point is you find these big initial impulses on a multi-time frame analysis. You scale it down from 32 to find a bigger turning point on a 32, and you enter a trade basically, and then you start taking partial profits. Meanwhile, you're looking for the next turning point. Again, like I said, guys, trade with the trend, don't trade against the trend. Right now, 30-minute chart, we're transitioning to an uptrend. So this could be a very good, this could be actually a low, and now we're going back, and the regular Bitcoin hustle, everyday bullshit that it does. But overall consensus, guys, is up. I'm very bullish. If you guys watch me for last few months, I pointed out, I spotted the top a month before it happened. I predicted that top. I called it out. We rode it twice. $10,000 to $13,000 moves, and finally a few days ago, guys, I switched to bullish. That being said, we're coming to an end of a cycle here pretty soon, so we have to form a high, and this is just a placeholder. We could still pop down lower, but in general, you can trade these smaller time frame waves if you're itching to trade, or you can start DCing into a low leverage position, and wait for a big move up, the next new all-time high. But that's how you trade Bertha circles, guys. I implement a lot of other different ideas into it. I put fib into it. I draw fib channels. I do market structure. I even look at volume sometimes, fixed range volume. You can check ranges, like a range volume. You can see where your value area low, value area high, where your point of control is, and see if there's a confluence between the price action on TradingView with your volume, for example, and your turning point, right? So let's say the turning point has to come, that the time is running out. Bertha circle cheat sheet. I already know. I don't need the cheat sheets for you guys, but basically, you see, okay, turning point 4, turning point 9 has to come in. We're touching double arc. What's on volume? It's showing that we're hitting value area high, and it's big resistance, right? So like you try to find these confluences, 3 to 4 confluences that show you that kind of concrete your idea of an entry. And when multiple things are pointing in the same direction, you make that decision and you pull your trigger and you enter a trade. I'll throw down the book names if you guys are interested that you need to read in our Discord. Join our Discord. It's free. We'll have a list of books there in the knowledge book section. It's going to be there, guys, for you. A whole bunch of books I need to read. Market Matrix, to find out how cycles work. Right, all cycles have an end. All cycles have a start. You can find out how price moves within the cycles. There's much more advanced stuff that I know how to do, and there are people here in our Discord to explain it to you, including me, that do insane ass findings of vibrations and these cycles. There's more than 80 cycles on a chart. You don't need to know all of them. In fact, here we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cycles, like 2 minute, 8, 30 second, 2 minute, 8 minute, 32, 125, 12, 248. I know that a guy who's, I don't want to say his name. I'm not sure if he wants me to say his name, but the guy who's making this program, we did request custom timeframes. We're going to have more timeframes here, guys, for you. It's just going to be awesome. It already is awesome. But always look at the bigger picture. So I only showed you 32, 8, and a 2. Obviously, later you're going to go to a 128, right? So in 128, you see we're pivoting up, right? On 32, we're pivoting up, but we're going to have a down move. So if 128 still has shit tons of time to go up, and you're shorting turning point 9 against the bigger trend of 128, is it really worth it, right? Or would it be worth waiting for 128 to round of time, form a pivot point 3, and then short the 128 and the 32, and then again you go to 512? You guys have to do multi-time frame analysis. You don't just trade, like so many people, guys, just trade a 1 hour chart, scale down to 15, and think that's it, they're best traders. You can't do that. You need to do multi-time frame analysis always. You need to see the bigger picture. Always zoom out. In fact, first thing you do is when you wake up, boom, daily, zoom out, boom, weekly, zoom out, mark some levels, guys, mark some levels. Okay, so what do we have? We have an all-time high, right? Take a horizontal ray, mark it, right? Mark your high, mark your daily hold levels, right? Boom, hold level right here, right? Just make these markers. Be aware of where the price is, where the price is going, what can the price do. Like always constantly update your charts, always look at them. Don't just be there in 15-minute chart. Oh, MACD, it's crossing the line, I'm gonna open a short. That's not trading, guys. That's you just guessing. That's basically it. Hope you guys liked the class. That's all I wanted to show you. There's much more to it. This was basically a 101, just a very basic explanation of how I use Bertha circle, Big Bertha, and Fib and all that stuff. There's going to be more